Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Astra in Udabi. Nice to see you earlier. Nirmalan, hello to you. Everybody that have greeted me early on, hello to you. Welcome. I'm good, Nirmalan. I hope you're well. So this live is being recorded on my YouTube channel. So if you guys do happen to leave the session, you don't need to take down any notes or what have you. This is being recorded on my YouTube channel, and the upload will be done, I think, before midnight. So you don't have to be concerned about that. There was a huge amount of requests for life path numbers, what they mean, talking about master numbers, life path numbers 1 to 9, vibrations, how they interact with the planets, how they correspond with chakras and all have you. This is a very deep science. It's not something that you can understand overnight or over a couple of years or what have you. It's not like a science that can be governed under a roof with four walls over a 4-year period and you get some kind of qualification. If you haven't paid attention, uh, if you haven't been conscious to this at a very young age, it becomes very difficult for you to understand this because this is beyond your comprehension, it's beyond your logic. So in fact, this dissolves your logic, and your logic is the ego front. So you have to be one that is or has the ability to dissolve the logic, one who has the ability or is in the working process of dissolving their logic. Then this would make sense to you. So welcome everybody. It's nice to see you on the channel. My name is Abhi. I'm a psychic medium, intuitive reader, astrologist, Vedic astrologist, Westernologist, numerologist, moonologist, tarot. I don't specialize so much in tarot. I prefer astrology because it's much more in depth. Karmic astrology, death astrology, light giving. So this is also light giving here. I'm shedding light on a specific question that was given to me many times, and I'm going to do the whole entire discussion on life path numbers. If you're already subscribed to my YouTube channel, very good for you. You will find that my podcast on each life path number it's already there. There's 1 to 4 that's already there. But this live here is purely to discuss all the life path numbers simultaneously and give you a bit of an in-depth of where do they come from. So I will do a separate podcast on this here. Um, so it's as a point of reference, it becomes simpler for you. But nevertheless, I think it was important for me to do this now because, guys, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. All my content is there. It's very good if you do it. Before I go any further, I'm going to talk about life path numbers and what they mean, holistically. Where do they come from? And how do you attain such a life path number that you are given? Remember, when we are born, we are taking on a name, we're taking on a sex, we're taking on a religion, we are taking on all of these additions, something that we've never asked for, but we're taking that on, and then we'll spend the entire of our lives defending that in stupidity. Does that even make sense? To me, it never made sense. Um, at 21 years of age, I questioned it. Why must I be called a Hindu man? Why must I be called a Hindu guy? But I'm not a Hindu guy. I don't even understand complete Hinduism. How can I be called a Hindu man? A Hindu guy is complete. How can I be called such when I'm not complete? What am I complete in? I felt incomplete. So why must I be called something? So I started questioning myself like this. I should talk to myself like this. And it's this kind of interaction that I've had that has led me on this path of seeking. So life path numbers, where do they come from? There is, at that moment when you are born, at that moment when you are conceived, depending on your reverberation, or let's explain it like this. Depending on how you live your life, let's just say Depending on how long you live, you've lived your life a certain way, you've eaten a certain amount of foods, you've drank in a certain amount of drinks, you've thought the way you do, your thought karma, your word karma, your action karma was a certain way, which brought you to a certain kind of vibration. Remember, as you think, speak, or do, it brings you to a certain kind of vibration. That vibration becomes your reverberation. At that moment when you leave the body, that's your frequency that you're on. At every given moment, you are on a you're on a different frequency. In the morning, you could be very moody because you are vibrating very low, because you've got 101 thoughts that are in your head. You need to go to work, you need to see your boss's face, and it drops you down in vibration. It's karmic memory replaying itself. Before it even happened, it's karmic memory replaying itself, which drop your vibration. When your vibration drops, you start to experience that dimension of reality as a happening. So you start to attract exactly that into your existence. Now, as you let's fast forward. As you've lived your life, depending on how you've handled yourself, you leave the body at a certain vibration. And that vibration itself or frequency is also can be called a path. That's the path you shall take after that. Now, once you take that path after that, depending on how you passed on, etc., and how you've handled yourself after that, when you come back in this world, depending on the mother and father at that moment when they're conceiving you, depending on their vibration, depending on how they handle their life, depending on what they eat, what they drink, how they think, how they behave, they are on different frequencies. And at that moment, when they are conceiving, it could be a million different souls that are trying to find a body to enter. Now, depending on your vibration, your reverberation, and depending on the reverberation of those two that are enacting themselves out, if it matches, you'll enter there to enact your karma out. That's how you get your life path number two. Focus on your life going forward to balance out, or not balance out, to evolve from that vibration. So the whole point of it is to evolve from your last vibration, is to evolve from your last reverberation. But you come into this world very pure. If you look at a baby, if you look at a baby when that thing is doing its bit on the bed, it's kicking its legs and doing whatever, and as it starts to walk or crawl or whatever, it's a perfect yoga teacher. For me, a baby is a perfect yoga teacher. It can do every kind of posture. That's why that baby is so happy. You observe a child, you'll see that that thing is doing every kind of different yoga posture. You try and do that and see. I can't even do that physically. So, what I'm saying is, when you come into this world, you come in very pure. You have no entanglement. No, you're only carrying your reverberation from your past life. But nothing has built up in this life as yet. As you grow and you go through different experiences, depending on how you handle yourself, this is called karmic buildup, karmic entanglement. Depending how you handle yourself going forward, that's your experience. We're not going to go into all of that. So this is how life path numbers, they you attain them. Depending on the day you're born, the month you're born, the year you're born, you take on a certain kind of vibration. That vibration is the same thing as a reverberation, which is the same thing as a frequency, which is the same thing in the dimension of existence that you're living in your chakra. For example, if you're a life path number 7, if you're a life path number 7, you're vibrating on 700 hertz and above most of the time. Depend if you are paying attention towards your true self, you will be vibrating 600 500 hertz and above. But most human beings obviously not. Once you get entangled with material modes of nature, you're just living in the three dimensions, which is the three worlds, which all belongs to the material world, anyways. You never see anything above 300 hertz. That's why most human beings today, they do not know what love is, and they confuse love with attachment. Most human beings know what attachment is. They do not know what love is. It's because they haven't come out of the third dimension. Now, because this live is purely focused on life path numbers, I'm going to do an overview of each life path number and the characteristics of each life path number. If you are new on the channel, please subscribe, follow me on TikTok, subscribe to my channel on Astro Inudabi. All my lessons are there. You don't, if why I store my lessons there. So if you ask me any question, I will refer you to my YouTube channel. So I do recordings every night. So numerology ties back into astrology. If you look at the vibrations 1 to 9, they also tie back into the chakra system from 1 to 7. Now, we all know there's 52, 54, 54 on either side, and there's 54, 54, and 52 on this side, 52 on this side, the Inda and Pinla, the feminine and masculine. Both the other the other two on this side, the other two on that side is more on the non-material front. It behaves depending on how you handle the first, the 102, actually, how you handle that. The other four takes effect. We're not going to go too much into that, but the seven main ones is the seven dimensions that we all should be familiar with, which is the root right up until the crown. um, the root being you're at the lowest at the base of your spine, and the crown being at your head and above. So how big is the dimension of the crown dimension, or the seventh dimension? I cannot tell you. Everything above your head, we don't know. I don't know. It could be 1 million dimensions, 1 billion, I don't know. I will never talk about something that I haven't had an experience with. What I can tell you is where I am right now, I don't know how many dimensions there are above the head. What I can tell you is the six dimensions from the root to here ties back into numerology, the vibrations 1 to 6 or 1 to 7, and 8 to 9 is basically above, way above. Now, life path number 1. I'd like to describe the life path number 1 in astrology and numerology. I'd like to describe it as a planet governed by, or the vibration governed by Mars, which is an Aries sign, which is red in color. Why? Because if you look at everybody that's governed by Mars, they're very ambitious. Um, they've got this force in them. They just like to drive forward in their projects. They are they are very physical in nature. So everything. In fact, there are a lot of martial artists that are Aries. If you didn't know this, well, I would know this because I pay attention to this. There are a lot of martial artists that are Aries, Sagittarians, govern and Leos. If you don't know, Conor McGregor is a Leo. That's why he's so bossy like that. He's a born fighter. So all these people governed by Mars and the Sun, that fire energy in them, they're born fighters. They're very physical in nature. But we got to understand that with a life path number 1, if you are a life path number 1, or you just want to understand the characteristics of a life path number 1, this is someone with a very strong energy. Uh, Somebody that's very courageous, determined, very honest in most cases, or they try to be very honest. This is somebody that is likes to help humanity physically. So these people, if you look around you, you'll find a lot of organizations that feed the poor, a lot of organizations that help people out with SPCAs. You'll see helping hands, NPOs, a lot of NPOs. If you go back and look at the owner of that, the one who has started this project, generally most of them are life path number 1s or number 9s, as above so below. So you'll find the number 9 or the one that's doing this here. They like to help people physically. They find that their lives are complete when they help, when they do something with their hands, when they serve with their hands. um, these people are very persistent. They it's hard for them to tolerate injustice. They would go through tooth and nail to fix a problem out now. They wouldn't wait for tomorrow to fix something. If they've got something in their head, they want to iron it out now. These people do not sweep things under the carpet. They are they like to They like to fix things basically. They do not like to feel uneasy. They in fact, these people are the first in line to stand up and try to change things. For example, if you put them in a room with everybody, and let's just say the whole group do not agree on something, you'll find that the life path number one will stand up and question the speaker. It's these people that are not afraid to challenge the status quo. Thank you very much, Karen Heath. Sundays, may your pockets always remain full. They are very, very rational people. What is rational? Logical, rational. They're very critical as well. Um, they like to take on the leading role. They like to take on the leading, or they're attracted to people who are born leaders. So if they reject it, they will be attracted to a person who is a born leader. For example, a Leo or somebody who's in a leadership position. If they don't fulfill this, so they can be a bit authoritative, definitely influential, and they crave constant recognition. Now, these people, they always they because they're so physical in nature, they require constant validation externally. They need applause, they need validation, or they will feel like the efforts are going in vain. That's the on the dark side, they can end up this way. So the vibration number one or life path number one, they are generous, considerate, they make friends easily, yes. These people are very creative as well, but at the same time, it's in their path that their tongue becomes their worst enemy. It's because of the inability to exercise the tongue effectively. They start to cause their own mishaps, and therefore they cannot completely exercise their creative skills in the world, and they keep it within them, and they will feel that they have so much of potential, but every time they want to do something, it doesn't work out. And this is a challenge with a lot of life path number ones, and it's purely because life path number ones find it very, very difficult to to effectively handle the tongue when they're upset. So life doesn't bring failure to life path number ones, no. It's just that failure is a consequence of an ineffective tongue or the mismanagement of the tongue. Failure is a happening because of that. I really hate it when people say my life is a failure, I'm born in with unluck and all of that. There's no such thing as good luck and bad luck. You make what you make. What you're given, you make. There's no such thing as good luck and bad luck. If you understand how the universe works, how the planets works, how the science, how it's a happening, you will understand this very, very well. So most human beings would understand that this good luck and bad luck exists because they do not understand how this universe works. So life doesn't bring failures to. I've heard somebody speak about life path number ones where they go through a lot of failures in their life. There's no such thing as a failure. What there is experience, and if you take that if you take that experience if you take that experience and if you implement that, Nirmaran, please block all trolls on this live. Yeah, that's all they ever know about. Repent, repent, repent. Therefore they live in misery, in fear, always in fear. Repent, repent in sin. Bullshit, man. So as I was saying here, in your way, in the way you live, in the way you live your life, in the way you think, in the way you live, in the way you speak, in the way you eat, those things are the cause, and the consequence of that there is what you go through as an experience. And you have a choice what to eat, what to drink, how to think, how to speak. You have a choice, um, how to be. Nobody can tell you how to be. It's your choice. Therefore, if you're unhappy with the product, you need to look at the ingredients that the ingredients that you're using in your life. What ingredients that you are using in your life? That's what you got to look at. You can never complain about the product. Ask yourself, what are you doing to get there? What are you doing to experience this? And you'll see this is quality thinking. This is profound thinking. This is intellectual thinking. This is how you should be thinking. So, life path number one's here, they need to be always prepared to get up and move on. So, you'll find these people here, They're always ready to pack the bags and move forward. They're always ready. They're always ready to, if they're unhappy in a situation, they're always ready to pack the bag and just walk out. These are life path number ones, the characteristics of them. On the dark side, if they don't do any kind of internal work within themselves, these people face very difficult situations in the course of their development. And what this means is, um, they, I don't know, explain it that way, because I don't know how many life path number ones are you have, but they can be a bit merciless. And because of the inability to handle the tongue, must know the tongue is the main thing here. If the person can't handle that tongue of theirs, it can cause a lot of problem. A poison. There was something that I wanted to write or create a podcast on, about Shiva drinking that whole poison and what have you. You must understand that poison is not only a physical thing that you may put in your body. A person that is trying to convince somebody to do the wrong thing, that's poison. A person that is trying to give somebody misinformation, that's poison. Like how you'll find that somebody comes in the live here and tell you repent and follow the gospel, that's poisonous, because such a person don't even understand what he or she is doing in their life. They don't understand what you should be repenting for. You must never repent. What must you repent for? Your life, you should live your life as the most profound experience. What you must repent for? How can you repent but eat meat every day? How can you repent but feel nothing when you cut the animal and eat it? Are you not repenting then? So you must understand, dear listeners, that here, when I speak about the tongue, the poison is the tongue, not just what you put inside the body. The poison is what you take out of the body, what you speak. So, a life path number one, on the dark side, if they do not do any kind of spiritual evolution in their life, meaning they are not engaged in some kind of yoga or some kind of way to attain higher consciousness, it can make them very, very convincing people, but for the wrong reasons. Um, they are very brave people, so they can put their lives on the line to fulfill their cause, and they become very impulsive people, very impulsive people. But most importantly, um, fear is something that they have within them all the time. They are always scared. They are scared of something. They are scared of being alone. They are scared of something happening to them when it haven't even happened as yet. This is something that can happen to a life path number one if they haven't done any kind of spiritual raising in their lives, and they fear not being successful. Therefore, they can jump to find a partner who's very successful. Now, in terms of love in their life, they look for somebody that they can really respect. They look for somebody that they can lean on for support. That's how these people love in a relationship. They look for a mother or a father figure in their life. They look at somebody that they can hold on to, somebody that is very strong, stronger than them. And the moment they feel that, on the love side, on the relationships, at the moment they feel that the partner doesn't have much strength like them, then they start to lose attraction in the person. So this is something that you will see happen with a lot of life path number ones. They're not afraid to walk away from people or relationships as well. Very, very quick to do so. But they are very honest people, most of them. Right, now let's move. I think I'm gonna stop it there with life path number ones. I can go on and on. Must know with the sign of Aries, I can talk forever. Governed by Mars, I can talk forever. Let's go on to life path number two. Now, if you look at life path number two, life path number two is the second sign of the zodiac, which is Taurus. But life path number two is the vibration number two, which is 200 hertz and above. So, what do we know about life path number two? Is the characteristics of such a person. Now, I'm going to try and make this very comprehensible, and you will find this podcast on my YouTube channel. How do we How do we describe a life path number two? Such a person, obviously, in the previous life, they would have felt very much unloved, or they've never felt completed in their relationships in the past life. So they come into this life here yearning for that. These people can never be alone. You will never find a life path number two alone. These people will pull their hair out. These people are always, they're always looking for somebody to lean on. They always need somebody there. And this is very close to Authorian in any ways. It's very difficult for them to be in isolation. These people are very physical in nature. They 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 understand things with logic, what they can touch, see, and feel. Anything above that, they don't understand. Their head starts to pain. So life path number two, these people here, they make the best negotiators. I'd like to describe them as the best mediators as well, because life path number twos, they do not look for trouble. They do not look for conflict. In fact, they look to resolve a situation. But these people have a strong difficulty to express themselves. These people go through a lot of relationship challenges because it's very difficult for them to express themselves emotionally. When it comes to happiness, they can express themselves when they're happy. But when it comes to the things of the heart, they find it very difficult. And why is this so? Well, I'll save this for another day on a different channel where I'll talk about planets and how they impact you in second house, eighth house, depending where your Venus is also. If you're born with the Venus retrograde, naturally you'll find it difficult to express yourself in relationships. But these people here, they are very gentle and cautious. They think everything and they try not to hurt anybody. They are true diplomats and peacemakers. When I say they're not pushy by nature, they stand aside because they feel more comfortable working in the background. But let them set their eyes on something. When their eyes are set on something, they make sure they get it in the end, and they can do anything to get it. They can, by hook or crook, they can get it. Lie or truth, they will get it. These are life path number twos. Even though they are peacemakers, but if they want something, peace can go out of the door. They they generally don't like to be the center of attention. They feel very uncomfortable amongst people, amongst a lot of people. Um, Life path number twos are not the leaders, they're not the born leaders. So it's very unwise if you have to give them a leadership role. These people are the hidden engine that runs the big machine, like that. There's a big machine there, an engine that is hidden away. That's the life path number two. They're not the out and loud person. They don't run for validation or to get a pat on the back and all of that, even though they love it. But they're not a person to, generally they wouldn't just run out to get attention. The second thing about them, I would say this is also a positive. They can adapt to different scenarios. They are very reliable people. They are also capable of taking on other people's qualities and hiding their true self behind the mask. Now, these people are experts at hiding their true self behind a mask. You would never even know about this person's true nature. A life path number two. um, these people, if life path number ones are all about physicality to express themselves, life path number twos are completely opposite that. These people are the ones who are hidden away. They do not like to communicate too much. In fact, they are very good listeners, but they can, on the dark side, they can become the biggest deceivers. um, they can, you know they are selfless. Yeah, they are selfless. Hooded Vixen, hello, welcome. They are full of love, yes. um, they do stand up for peace, yes. They do not like conflict, but uh, when it comes to the biggest flaw is when it comes to dealing with conflict. These people suffer the most in dealing with conflict, even though they are the peacemakers. In their own life, in their own intimate life, they find it very difficult to bring peace onto the table. In most cases, well, it all depends on the actual karma, but these people are very big on family. They love their family a lot. Um, these people make good partnerships, but not in business, but more in friendship. But because these people are always looking for a special somebody, um, they also look for a special somebody to lead them in the right direction. These people feel very difficult to lead their life on their own. You'll find a lot of life part number twos that are with somebody because of the direction that the other person is giving them, and they have the most amount of bad endings in relationships. They are very dependable depending they are very dependent on other people. Therefore, it's very important for a life part number two to receive very good guidance in their life, because number twos, they care about what other people think about them. The number ones, they don't care. The life part number twos care what the other person thinks about them. Their mood is always changed by what somebody else think about them, be it the person in the home, their friends, their family, whatever it is. Their moods are always fluctuating because they are affected by everybody else. They find it very difficult to find happiness in their life. Why? Because they look for happiness in somebody else. They believe that somebody else can make them happy. They haven't mastered the art. Life part numbers twos, most of them in this world, they have no spiritual interest in life. So these people, they look for this kind of happiness in other people, and they always end up with pain and suffering. Even though they want everybody around them happy, because they are people pleasers, they suffer the most. They daydream a lot. On the dark side, if they obviously, most of them, they generally don't do any inner work. They very indecisive people. They become very impatient. They are always emotional. They are very forgiving, yes, but they like to escape reality by entering the world of the imagination. They will end up going out, spending most of the time interacting with people that are not good for them, because they cannot be alone. They will even start interacting with people who are not actually good for them, just because they can't be alone. They would rather trust somebody who is not good for them than trusting their own selves being alone. That's how it is. And these people, they can get attached to anything on the physical world. They, on the dark side, they can get very easily absorbed into the world of habits. We're talking about the different kind of habits that uh, they are, the number of, there's so much of different habits. They get absorbed in it, and it becomes very difficult for them to come out of it. And they find ways to explain that this is the way for them to deal with the emotional trauma. And they actually very good at explaining themselves. Most people will listen to a life part number two and believe them that way. You are going through this and you really need it in your life. They are very good in explaining, because these people are the perfect listeners. They are the perfect listener. If you've got a problem, a life part number two is always open to listening to your problem. They may not give you any constructive feedback. They might not be able to help in your problem, but they listen to you. Whether they understand it or not is their own thing, but they listen to you. Now I'm gonna move on to the life part number three. Now, dear listeners, I'm not gonna go too much in depth on each life part number. Just like astrology, I don't think there is a limit of how much to explain. There's no limit. For me, I can go on for hours explaining a certain dimension, because there's so much of realities in each dimension. Remember, life part numbers are all dimensions. They are different dimensions of perception. They are different dimensions of reality. They are different dimensions of existence. Now, my question to you is, how would you know all of this if you just whole life is spent repenting? Repenting for what? You'll die without knowing anything. You understand? So most of the leaders today, they are all lost anyways. They are leading congregations, they are lost. They don't know anything. They will sing the same song somebody sang to them in the institution they went to. They will clap their hands and sing the same kind of stuff, which doesn't take them anywhere because they're not born seekers. They are following the flock, which is blind, anyways. How would you know all of this? There are different dimensions, good human beings. And these dimensions can be accessed at any given time. You are accessing them without you even knowing. Up or down, the heaven is here, the hell is here. You are going through this up and down all the time. Most people will tell you need to go to heaven after you die. Why must you worry about where you go after you die? If you focus on where you are now, you can have a heaven experience right now by living in this dimension. They will not tell you this here because they want to keep you here to control you. They want to keep you living in their hell so that you easily manipulated. That's what they will do to you. They like to keep you living in a state of fear. Why? So that they can manipulate you and control you and take your money. That's what they will do. The amount of questions I have asked people, they could not answer me. They've scratched their head and they walked away. And I'm talking about people that leads thousands of people. They can't answer my questions because they lost. Because they attain these kinds of positions in their life. They attain it by listening to whoever is talking to them and teaching them. So they know no not know they know not more than their logic. Therefore, these life path numbers itself, they are just not life path numbers, they are dimensions of existence that you are living in, that you will be more prone to experiencing in your life. Even if you don't do much inner work, you'll find yourself gravitating to more of these kinds of experiences in your life. Now, the life path number three, the third house, the house of communication, travel, siblings, higher learning. What can we discuss about a life path number three and the characteristics of such a person? Now, I'd like to describe a life path number three as a person that generally always stays a child. It's very difficult for them to mature up in life. These people, they are said to be the most creative out of all. This is a Gemini energy. They are very creative. They are generally very childish in nature. They love chivalry. They love laughing and joking. They like that kind of life. They love the funny world. They love humor. But the problem is that their own way of life, it impacts them because they realize at a very late stage in their life that that way of living is never going to get them anywhere in that world, never going to get them anywhere far. And this is with their career, in their love life, with friendships. It doesn't. So they suffer this very late in their life. They have a very good imagination. And if you can unlock at the life part three, if you can unlock that imaginative side of you can do a lot of good things in this world. A lot of life path number threes, they are people that open up gifting businesses, boxing businesses, businesses that are all in relation to the arts and media, e-commerce. They make very good e-commerce specialists. Businesses that are, you'll find all the businesses that are very creative, they look very good. These people make very good marketing managers, marketing specialists. These people are all about being creative. They have this creative side to them. They can be very reckless because of their happy casual nature. They are not born leaders, so it's very difficult for them as well to lead themselves in a correct way in life. They need to look up to somebody. Most of the time, they are good communicators, yes, because they're very cheerful. They are very active. They like to be active. They want to do something in life where they remembered, but they find it very difficult because they only realize that um, too much of laughing and joking and playing around doesn't solve that problem, and they realize it's a bit late in life. And this is a bit unfortunate, but nevertheless, I can't say it's unfortunate to them. If they like it that way, that's good. So that's all that matters. They go through life being guided by their feeling, their instinct. They will often be hurt, yes. So these people go through a lot of relationship trauma. And I think out of all the vibrations, number three is top at the top. The life path number three is at the top three of life path that go through the biggest heartbreaks. And they like they want to be in good relationships or happy relationships, but they find it very difficult to keep that going strong, because when it comes to things that are serious in the relationship, whether it's a friendship, marriage, or whatever, they find it very difficult to take things seriously. In fact, these people here, you'll see with a lot of Geminis as well, they find it very difficult to take advice. These people don't like anybody to tell them anything. Life path number three is they dislike anybody to tell them anything. And what it means is that they find out later in life that, okay, wait a minute, certain person has told me this here 10 years ago and they was very right. But they find it very difficult to apply that, because they start to think maybe time has run out, it's too late for me to apply it. I might as well go on in my life, it's okay. So on the dark side, if such a person hasn't done any kind of work, I can't say if a person hasn't done any spiritual work, because that's wrong to, yes, so many people talk about um, if you're doing any kind of spiritual work with yourself. Spiritual work is a happening with everybody. Everybody is doing spiritual work. You are living right now, you are a spiritual being, you're having spiritual experiences, you are evolving or you are not evolving depending on how you handle your karma, but you're having a spiritual experience. So you are you are spirit living in a physical body, you're having a material experience, but your thoughts, they are spiritual in nature. So the best way to explain this, if a person hasn't karmically evolved through their karmic memory, or in a simpler way, if a person haven't learned from their lessons, on the dark side, a life path number three can find it very difficult, because they wander off the road that they would like to be on and they get dragged in the opposite direction. They start going through life against the current. What I mean by this is they go through life against the planetary alignments, they go through life against nature's laws. So if nature tells you, as you sow, so shall you reap, they start to say, I don't care what I might get. I don't care what may come from this. I don't care. I'd rather do what makes me happy. This is the ego front at play. They start to have poor health. They lose the grip of themselves and they stop taking care of themselves. Um, they become very dissatisfied with everybody. In fact, nothing makes them happy over a period of time. Uh, they become people that frown a lot. If looks could kill, a life part number three is looks can kill you. That's how they become. These people here, they like to, on the dark side, they can laugh at other people, but nobody must laugh at them. They like to laugh at the expense of somebody else. They will find humor in it, but they will never find humor at the expense of themselves. These people find it very difficult to take accountability in their lives. They they get into reckless relationships because of the emotional immaturity. It's very difficult for them to grow up. And these people here, because of the inability to accept accountability in their lives, they can remain the very same person till they leave this body. They will be the same person, how you've met them. After 20 years, they'll be the very same person. Nothing would have changed in their life. Besides the clothing or maybe a vehicle or a home, nothing else would have changed. The characteristics is the same. There's no karmic, there's no emotional frequency change. There's only change in the physical dimension, because these people are very physical in nature. They are people that would tell you sorry by buying you a gift, but they will never tell you sorry. This is who they are on the dark side. They will tell you they apologize without telling you they'll buy you something very expensive, because that's how they see the world, with only the two eyes and nothing beyond that. Right? So on the dark side, these people here, I'm not going to go into the karmic lessons and the vibrations that each one needs to learn and all that. This can be a very, very long session. Right? So I'm not going to go too much into it. On the love side, these people go to the most, uh, you know, painful breakups. A lot of people in their relationships end up leaving them, because these people are very blunt. Also, their partners leave them because they don't have the ability to be affectionate, anyways. They find it very difficult to show emotion because these people depend on physical things to show their love. They can buy you a nice thing, take you a nice place, but they can never give you that affection. It's a connection, it's a feeling. They can never give you that, and they themselves don't understand what it is. So anyways, let's move on to the life part number 4. Fourth house, home, family, roots, the sign of Cancer, governed by the moon. Life part number 4. Now, what are the life part number 4 is all about? Now, if I have to look at a life part number 4, the first thing that comes to mind is the Dharma keeper. These are the people that can withhold Dharma. These people are duty driven. A life part number 4, guys, they can sweep the house 10 times a day. These people here, they are duty driven. They are the pillars of society. They represent foundations. They represent the law. They represent rules, uh, material concerns also. You all know what's the meaning of pragmatism? I'd like to describe them as well, like this. Very self-disciplined. Oh, very, very self-disciplined. Yeah, a little bit of practicality in it. Yeah, not all the time, but they are very stable. They're very persistent. You can always rely on a life path number 4. You know, life path number 4s, these people are also people pleasers. They can sacrifice their own health, they can sacrifice their own family to please somebody else. These people can sacrifice themselves for pretty much anybody. um, there's no place for improvisation or a spontaneous attitude with a vibration number 4. These people are not spontaneous. They don't like to improvise. In fact, these people here, they love to see certain thing looking the same way all the time. You see it in life part number 4 is their home. If let's just say the TV remote is here, life part number 4, the TV remote will be there all the time like that. If you come to change that, they feel very uneasy. If you come to change the way they live, it becomes very uneasy, very unsettling. That's why these people suffer a lot. These people, in fact, suffer the most, I would think, from all life path numbers because because of being people pleasers, they do not know what it is to live a profound life. They find it very difficult to be happy. They find it very difficult to do things that makes them happy. They don't know what makes them happy. In fact, there's lots of delays and burdens, disputes in their lives. It's a karmic number. Life path number 4 is a karmic number. Most of the illnesses that a life path number 4 has, doctors cannot diagnose them. If you know a life path number 4 in your life, you will see that the doctors find it very difficult to diagnose a life path number 4. And why it's happening because of this? Look, I'm not going to go talk about 4 and 16 and all of that from past life and ancestral debt, but from in a comprehensible way, these people life path number 4s, they carry a lot of ancestral debt over, not just their own, but ancestral debt they carried over in this life. So it's a karmic number. Therefore, these people are very serious. They are absolutely serious in their life. They find it very difficult to smile to the world. If you talk to a life path number 4, you'll find them very cold. You can find them very, not heartless, but very a stiff, cold front. Most of life path number 4s are like this. And these people will joke a lot that they cannot wait for retirement or they cannot wait to leave this world. Life path number 4s will talk like that. They cannot wait to retire. They cannot wait to leave this world and go to another world. They don't like to ask for help. These people like to do everything themselves. They don't like, even if help is offered, they prefer to, they might not even accept it. They are taught to go through life on their own, and they keep this independence at work as well. So they prefer to do it on their own. They feel content, like they've achieved something by doing things on their own. Life path number 4 is fourth house, governed by Cancer. These are the mothers of the world. They're very motherly, though. They're very affectionate people. They're very caring. Therefore, they put themselves at everybody's disposal. They can do anything for anybody, and they lead difficult lives because of that. And their health, their mind, their health, they suffer with their mind. They can suffer with things that also don't exist. They are very fair people, very honest though, um, very supportive, and But if you tramp on their toes, these people can be very, very nasty people. They can make things very difficult for somebody, and they're very revengeful. They can wait for the right moment to attack you, and humiliate you. They can wait for it. But you got to really push a person very, very hard for that. And a life path number four is a person that is very, very patient. But these people are generally governed by the moon itself. I mean, fourth house is governed by Cancer, governed by the moon. The Cancerian house, they are very emotional beings. So they're very sensitive people. So if you have to tell them something about themselves, they can start crying and they can take it very personally. They get wounded very quickly. So if you know a life path number four, you will know that you got to watch your words very carefully with the life path number four, because they can take it to heart. And that's how they, on the dark side, if a life path number four has never done any karmic evolutionary, if they've not evolved karmically in their life to their own karma, if they haven't learned from their lessons, remember guys, your lessons are your guru, right? Your guru is not sitting somewhere, someplace. Your lessons are your guru. These lessons, if you have learned from them, you help to move up the chakra system, you help to rise in frequency. Let's just say if you haven't learned from them, as a life path number four, if you haven't applied the lessons, and if you are stuck in the same rut all the time, this is over a considerable period of time. As your vibration drops, these are the experiences you shall go through. Now, uh, the first thing I can pick up is, on the top of my head, a person can become very inharmonious. They will never find happiness in anything. They can become the biggest mood setters. They are never happy. They are never positive. They're very melancholic. They're full of dark thoughts. Um, when they are off balance, they will always be prone to thinking of the negatives instead of anything positive. They cannot find the benefit of living. They just wait to die, these people. The life path number four is, if they are off balance, they think that there is a world better off than here. Dear listeners, there is no other world better than here. There's no physical world. If there is a physical world, you must show me. What there is different states of consciousness. If you are miserable here, if you are miserable here in this earth, when you leave this body, you're not going to go here in the state of consciousness. You're going to stay here. So if you don't fix yourself here and rise in frequency here and find the beauty in chaos here, if you don't rise beyond your religion, if you don't rise beyond what people taught you, if you don't rise beyond your logic, you will be stuck here. And you will think something is better off when you leave this planet. That is the biggest misconception in this world today. The biggest crime against humanity is thinking that there is another place better than this earth. There is no other place better than here. You can achieve everything here in a state of consciousness here. This is what Christ has told you, but you forgot about that. You forgot to listen to that. This is what Krishna has said. This is what Ram has said. They've attained these. This is what the Buddha said. But you will forget about all of that and think you must die to attain that. Why? Because it's convenient for you. You don't want to do all the hard work. You don't want to learn from your lessons. This is the biggest crime against humanity. Thinking that there is something bigger and better than out of this world. There is nothing better here. If you're on this frequency here, you leave the body, you're in this dimension out of here. You will come back here in this dimension, you can get an animal body. If you're in this frequency, you can get an animal body. Like that. So as a life path number four, these people, if they've never done their work, or if they get off, these people start to think there is a better world outside here. This is the biggest form of madness. And these people can disguise it in a form of religion, that there is some place better off than here. If you've never risen in frequency, you will never get to that state of consciousness. On the dark side also, if these people haven't learned from their lessons, they their health, they start to suffer from every kind of health issue, and doctors find it very difficult to diagnose them. The best of doctors cannot sort their problems out. If you know a life path number four, you will see these people suffer from things which can also be described as beyond human comprehension. I think I'm going to stop there with the life part number 4. Dear listeners, dear viewers, remember, whatever you are today is because of your mind. Your gods, your demons, your religion, your sex, your orgasms, they all exist in your head first. When you go and meditate, you picture some god in your head and you meditate for that. It's in your head. If your head is not functioning properly, you can either go up or down. So, as a life part number 4, the fourth house is governed by the moon. If you are a person that is not beyond your emotions will lead you. And we all know emotions will lead you down. Therefore, a person who walks on water is not literally walking on water. These people will come on the live and talk about repenting when they don't even know the meaning of things in their own books. Walking on water means being above your emotion. Water is governed by the moon. The moon governs the water content. When you are above the moon, it means you are above your mind. The mind takes instructions from you. You don't take instructions from your mind. You're above your emotions. That's what it means. Now, that's the whole purpose of a life path number 4. In fact, that's the purpose for all of us, all life path numbers. Every human being needs to master the art of being in control over the mind. And it's the most difficult thing. Personally, based on my experience, it's the most difficult thing to do. Let's go on to the life path number 5s. Life path number 5s. Fifth house, the Leo, life path number 5, governed by the sun. The best way to describe a life path number 5, I think, to explain it, to summarize this year, I think the best way to explain is these people love freedom. They don't like anybody to tell them anything. They love their independence. It's in their nature to experience as much as possible in their life. They want to expand in all avenues in their life. They want to have lots of children. They want to travel around the world. They want to eat every kind of food. They want to learn many kind religions, languages. They want to buy many cars. They want to buy many different houses. They want to cut their hair short today. Next 3 months they got long hair. Then they'll color the hair black. If it's gray, then they'll color it brown. If it's another color, they'll wear contact lens. They'll take it out. These people are just all over the place. That's who they are. They get very bored with themselves very quickly. Because remember, these people get acquainted with the world through their senses and they seek to touch, smell, hear, see. These people are governed by the 5 senses. Now, obviously, when I'm talking to a life path number 5, these people really understand what I say or they really follow what I say is because these people find it very difficult to dissolve the sense of their senses. They like to be in touch with their senses. And the whole point of life is to dissolve your senses. When you dissolve the sense of sight, taste, smell, hear, touch, when you dissolve the senses, something happens to you. When you close your eyes and you shut your brain from thinking, it's in that death state, in that nothingness, where there is absolute darkness and nothing exists. There's no even thought, and you don't even know you are here. What makes you think that that's not the state you are when you pass on? And I've written an article on this here. You can actually die without dying. But there is such a profound experience because it's pure bliss. So, yes, that is what it means resting in peace. That is what the heaven state of experience is, where nothing exists. What will a person need in heaven if they got no body? Why would a person need to eat the best of foods in heaven if they got no body? No, I asked somebody this year, the person looked at me. Oh, in heaven there's nice food. There you can eat whatever it is that you want. Namaste, Avishai, welcome, Bhaiya. Yeah, I'm good, I'm good. Nice to see you on the channel. It's a state of experience, it's a state of existence, it's a frequency, a state of consciousness. That's what you and I are. We are just conscious beings, but most of us are obviously living unconscious. But anyways, life path number 5 is they are very adventurous people. They love to travel, they love to explore. Thank you very much, Avi. Best of wishes to you. Please pass my regards to yeah, his name is not coming. Oh, you know what I'm talking about? Your uncle, the Scorpio uncle, right? Now, these people love to travel. They prefer to travel alone. So yes, they love to be alone. They like to travel to foreign countries. They like to live outside their birthplace. They like to live abroad. So these people, you'll find a lot of life path number fives. These people, the only thing makes them happy is traveling. Not their husband, not their wives, not their children, just the money in their bank and travel. I've seen a lot of life paths like this, number fives. They want to broaden their knowledge and experience. And through travel and socializing, this is how they feel they understand life. They love nature, they love art, they love other cultures, they love socializing. They are people that love to communicate a lot. These people, they often they love the center of attention. They love to hang out and have fun. They love to go in the center and just have their attention drawn to them. Being joyful, these people are pretty much explained in a nutshell as fun company, but other people may not seem so. They may not seem that this person, life path number five may think they're good company, but other people may not seem that they are. They want to gain the affection of others and make them happy. They are successful. They make friends very quickly, but they rarely keep friends. That's the thing. They rarely keep friends. They have brilliant minds. They're constantly thinking about things and making plans. They can make a plan right now. They can be living that same plan they thought about, but they'll be thinking another plan which don't exist right now. That's who they are. They can make a travel plan while they've already made a travel plan, just like me. I've planned to go somewhere, but I've already making plans to travel somewhere next year. But I'm not a life path number five, guys. So you'll often meet them downtown because these people are always out and about. And because they love freedom, these people don't like to settle. They don't like to marry quickly. They don't like to settle down with anybody. They don't like to commit. They like people to commit to them. They like many people to commit to them, but they don't like to commit to anybody. Not to say that they're not loyal, they just don't like that word commitment because they feel commitment means holding them down to a specific place. But they can make decisions very abruptly, and their behavior is very unpredictable. They are very impatient and they can change their jobs like no man's business. That's who they are. Their egos are at front of everything. Now, on the dark side here, if a person hasn't done any kind of work, when acting inharmoniously, these people can become very cunning and manipulating, and they are very prone to lying. They also may not, on the dark side, they may not see a problem stealing other people's ideas or plagiarizing their work. These people can become very big gamblers uh, because they are instant. They have a need for instant gratification. Um, they have a need for a quick fix. So gambling does that. You get the money same time. So these people become very easily addicted to things that give them instant gratification, and any kind of addictions gives you instant gratification. If you smoke a cigarette, the nicotine don't take 10 hours to go in your blood, right? If you go and gamble, you can either win or lose in 10 seconds, right? So instant gratification, they are on the thrill. They love the thrill in their life. They don't care in the on the dark side when they're in stress, when they're undergoing stress. These people, they don't comb their hair, they don't brush their teeth regularly. They don't care about their appearance. On the dark side, they don't care about the physical front of themselves. They can waste money and spend it uncontrollably, and they won't have any respect for social norms. They can criticize anybody. They can take their tongue and use it in any way, not worry about the consequences. This is how the life path number five can be on the dark side. Shivani, welcome. We're discussing life path numbers here. And they find it very difficult to take criticism. These people here, when you tell them something, when the ego is dented, they'll shrug off and they'll walk away. But before they walk away, they will take hold to the impatience. The lesson to be learned here is definitely controlling of the vices, because because these people, Dini boy, welcome to the live. Because these people are governed by their senses, they exploit their senses. They can eat the best of things and go to the best of places. It's never enough for them. So the senses lead them, and therefore pain and suffering is a must in their life. They're going to go through it as a consequence. So the lesson to be learned is to obviously dissolve the five senses. And if we tell a vibration number five this to meditate, they'll shrug it off and go away. But nevertheless, if you are a person who's a life path number five, meditation is something that you need to do. Let's go on to life path number six. Life path number six. If you are a life path number six, or if you know anybody who's a life path number six, let's go straight into the characteristics of such a person. Now, a life path number six, I'd like to describe as somebody who represents love. The sixth dimension. Members of this personal number are they very humane people. Um, these people are very devoted, caring. They can be very charismatic people. They can be perfectionists. They can expect their partners to be perfectionists, and the moment their partners slip up one time, they can be very criticizing people. Of all the numbers, the life path number six, they show love the most. These people here, home and family means a lot to them. So they can invest in a lot of energy in creating the most harmonious home for themselves. But on the dark side, these people, they can create the best of home, but nobody would suspect them that they went and created another home elsewhere. These people are the biggest secret keepers. On the dark side, they are very good at making themselves look younger than their real age. In fact, they are the master secret keepers. These people here, they remain very close to their parents and they stay in touch with them even after they leave home. These people here, they are devoted to their friends. Their friends know that they can rely on a life path number six. A life path number six will listen to you more than give you advice. And the advice that they will give you, they will give you from a point of experience. If they do not have the knowledge, they would not give you experience, wisdom. They would direct you to a person who knows about it. They wouldn't leave you hanging on the lurch. These people, life path number six, they love all people and definitely their partner in particular. They are generally loyal, devoted, romantic, and they look. These people are not always happy in their relationships. These people are also they put the needs of other people before theirs. Life path number six. These people are chosen by their partners. It's not the other way around where they choose their partner. So where love is the most for them, they would allow that person to come into the life and relate to them. These people are very charming, very youthful. They can be very seductive people, very well spoken. And these people are very sociable, charming, and they invest in a lot of time in their appearance. For them, my appearance is what shows first. I will put anything last. My appearance is first. They hate seeing the ugliness of anything like dirt or disorder. These people, they like everything to be well maintained and neat. Their home workspace environment. These people serve other people through love. That's what they do. They show their love through others to care. That's how these people show that they love. They care for the well-being of the person. These people can become the mother or father in the relationship. A life path number six, if let's just say if they uh, got into a relationship, these people here, they become the mother or the father of the partner. So that first relationship never works out. But the person who they've been with will never forget them. Why? Because they will be described as this person here always cared for me. This person, I will always care for this person, even though it didn't work out. And that's a very good relationship between both, even though it didn't work out. That the caring nature in them is very strong. With the life part number six, cares very deeply, and um, the other person, the partner, over time will feel like that's I'm more attracted to the care than anything else, and the relationship will die off like that. So that's how it's happening in most cases. These people here, they don't know what no is, so they say yes to pretty much everything. They don't accept challenges. That's the problem. They can sit in one position for the rest of their life. These people do not like change, they dislike change. um, these people are not revengeful people. You can treat them very badly, they will smile and they will walk away for good. They are not revengeful people. They have a very casual nature. They don't like to hurry, they don't like to rush with anything. um, they don't like to make mistakes because these people are generally perfectionists. Now, because these people don't like change, they resist change. They go through life on the dark side if they haven't learned to the karmic memory. These people can have a very miserable life. Their health, they can stay in a relationship throughout and be miserable in it. But the secret keepers they can two time very easily, and nobody would ever catch them. That's how they are. And the in harmonious side, these people aren't interested in life and they lack the drive. They become the biggest manipulators. They start to use other people for their ideas. Financially, these people on the dark side, they can use somebody for the wealth like no man's business, and they can turn everything uh, around and say, but you have nobody forced you to do it like that. This is how they can become very manipulative people. They can dwell in the past as well, and they can relive the past like no man's business. They can relive the past so many times that it can make you feel that you are doing something wrong. And this is how they get away with a lot of things on the dark side. They will relive the past to create an issue in the current so that you accept that, you know what, I shouldn't want to take things any further like that. So on the dark side, that's who they are. Now, we all have dark characteristics in us if we allow ourselves to go there. There's no one life path number that is better than the other. The universe is made up of polarities, the positive and the negative, the Shiv, the Shakti, the Indra and Pinla, the sun and the moon, the yin and yang, the Rahu and Ketu, the dragon's head, the dragon's tail. It's the polar opposites. That's how it is. Which side you gravitate more towards, you shall get. You gravitate more towards here, bliss, happiness. You drop down here, pain, suffering, misery. So I'm going to keep it at that life path number 6. We understand what a life path number 6 is. Let's move on to a life path number 7. Oh, I love a life path number 7. I'm a life path number 7 myself, so it's very easy to explain this from a point of using my own experiences in my life. Um, life path number 7s, these people here are living in a dimension that is half and half. This is in the fourth body. This is in the half year, half out of year. So I'd like to describe the life path number 7 as a person living in the transient body. If you look at the 5 sheets of the body, the Vidya Maya Kosha, or the physical body, so the physical body, the gross body, the food body, which is the physical body, then you have the mental body, then you have the prana body, which is energy body, then you have the transient body, which sits here, which is neither up there or neither down here. It's the eye of knowing, it's the spiritual eye. And then the bliss is over that. So the life path 7 is always sitting half leg down on earth and half leg on top. That's the best way to explain a life path number 7. A life path number 7, these people are very rational people. They're generally very well read, educated, very enlightened. They are very analytical and they see things through realistically. These people can observe the world from a very different perspective. Their attitudes are based on a personal view, which is very different from other people's. Their attitude earns them respect and inspires people. These people are very meticulous, nothing will escape their eyes. These people, what no one else notice, a life path number 7 will spot it immediately. Keep this in mind if you intend to lie to a number 7. A number 7, you will need to try to work very hard. It's unlikely that you will succeed. Life path number 7s will see right through you. They might not tell you anything, but they will see right through you and expect you to not do that again. But in your state of egoism, you will never change because you think you are not being seen. But this is the biggest mistake you can make to a life path number 7. These people here, they like practical solutions, very clear questions and short answers. These people, they are generally educated and very professional. However, it's not uncommon for them to have problems expressing themselves and conveying their ideas. It's very difficult for them to express themselves. These people here, it's hard for them to find common ground with people around them. In the worst scenario, they are misunderstood. Sometimes they aren't entirely clear about their ideas and they put forward themselves, but they feel it intuitively, which is something many numbers lack. So these people here, they feel something in them that they cannot be moved, that they are right, but it's very difficult for themselves to put themselves forward. um, they are very interesting people and very unusual personalities. Those who don't get to know number seven well will consider them to be very weird people. So, life path number seven is considered a very weird person. I'm a life path number seven. I've had many people that told me I'm weird, but in a very good way. I know what they mean, and yes, it is weird in a good way because of the intellect. That which you do not know, you like it, and that's what you like about it. But a life path number seven, you will not like the other characteristics of a life path number seven, because a life path number seven will be able to see the bullshit that comes out from your head and your mouth. Right? So these people here, those who get to know a life path number seven, will find it very difficult being with a life path number seven. There is the- a life path number seven, they may appear original, but the thing is, what makes them mysterious is because they got heart. Jai Shri Ram, Namaste, welcome. Um, yeah, these people are very. They may appear normal, right? Physically, they like to appear normal, but the reason why they are like that is because they always get this upsurge in energy, and this can happen during a new moon or a full moon. Now, depending on how such a person lived their life. Um, remember, dear listeners, you can be any life path number. It doesn't make you better than anybody else. What you put in your mouth, what you put in your head, what comes out from your mouth, and how you live your life determines your experiences. It's your karma. As you do your karma, that's how you will experience life. It's just that a life path number seven, half of their consciousness is out of the physical world, so they know what karma to create for best probability. So therefore it may seem like these people have luck on their side. It's not that. It's just that these people are a bit more intuitive because they're tuning into the station. um, it's said that the number seven represents a bridge between the physical world and the spiritual world. They have one foot in and one on the other. They don't entirely belong to any. So these people will feel very rejected and very different from childhood, not realizing their importance. These people have the strongest intuition out of all life path numbers. The intuition is the greatest gift. Ironically, many of those number sevens neglect the intuitive side. Why? Because they get scared. They want to live in the rational world. um, Depending on what your sign is. If you are born Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, you generally governed by earth element. If you're a life path number seven, you'll find your life very confusing, because yeah, you want to know more, but you can't leave the material world. You can't I spoke to somebody earlier on, and it's very difficult for you, but with time it becomes easier. Number sevens make very good friends. They make very good counselors, very good preachers. These people make very good motivational speakers. These people have the gift to hold on to people and bring out the best in them. These people can help their friends and family. They put their friends and family first. Some say, or some may recognize this and try to take advantage of them. They are impressionable, which leads to situations that end very badly. And as a consequence, it can make them feel very disappointed, lonely, and even rejected all over again. And number seven is generally attracted to the spiritual world, esoteric sciences, salvation. They retreat into themselves, seeking deliverance. Their consciousness generally is very pure, but definitely misunderstood. These people need to find themselves. These people need space. They need space by being alone. These people will only find peace when they're left alone for a while. Number sevens have a very brilliant mind. Their ability to analyze is unimaginable, unquestionable. They search for many answers and go into the core of a problem. And in their quest for understanding, they seek perfection. And while on this road, they focus primarily on what's bad. Then they may criticize everything. These people here always have something to talk about and someone Even if they haven't been in the situation, they can relate to it. These people here are very generous and have a good understanding of friendship. They're very practical. They want to help. They are flexible, but they have mood swings. They can suddenly explode as they get upset easily and can lead to violence. They can be extremely temperamental and very impulsive. Now, on the dark side, if you're a life path number 7, and if you've never done your spiritual work or if you haven't learned from your lessons, these are people that are always frustrated on the dark side, bad mood. They can imagine that they have enemies. They can criticize everybody, and they don't have any intention on changing. They become very, very selfish, very superficial. They don't trust anybody, not even themselves. Now, for a life path number 7, trust is a very big issue for them. They attract people who are eventually disappointed in them, especially when it comes to love. These people here on the dark side, they need to find faith in their life. These people here, they may suffer from depression because the life of a number 7 is very difficult because they are stuck on two worlds. They find many obstacles on the dark side. Thank you very much, Nolita. These people here, they become very inharmonious and they have addictions very easily. It's very important if you are here on this live and if you know anybody who's a life path number 7, you don't need to go wash their feet and tell them, you my God or anything. No, you must understand them. If they've got addictions, you need to help them come out of it, move them towards faith. Life path number 7s need faith. These people need to walk on faith. The moment they lose their faith, they lose everything in life. These people here need to stand on their own ground. They need to find that faith in themselves and stand on it. Nobody can do it for them. Not their mothers, not their fathers, nobody. They can only do it themselves. If the life path number 7 did not make the conscious choice to live their own authentic self, they shall live the rest of their life very miserable. Therefore, there are a lot of life path number 7s I know that externally they are very okay, but inside their life is an ocean, ups and downs, smiles and frowns. That's what it is. Therefore, a life path number 7 needs to build on their faith. And how do you build on your faith? You don't have to imagine some God sitting somewhere upstairs. Look at your body. All your organs, your body parts are functioning normal. Go look at some person who don't have that. Look at yourself, you have it. That is faith. Ah, thank you, God. Every body part functions properly in me. If you don't know how to value your food, stay away from food for 4 days or 3 days. When you look at that food, every cell in your body starts to cry out for that food. That's how you shall value food. This is how you thank your God for your food. This is how you learn to have faith. If you don't value the house that you're in, let your house get flooded 5 or 6 times. Imagine yourself sitting with water with no power during load shedding. You'll cry when things come right. You look at your home. That's how you build faith. If you don't know how to build faith, look at everybody who don't have vehicles. When you start your car, the thing can take you somewhere. This is how you build faith. If you don't know how to respect the people you have in your life, look at the people who don't have their mothers and fathers. Look at how they are weeping. They have things to celebrate, but their mothers and fathers are not here. That which they need to celebrate, they can't celebrate normally because their mothers are not here. You must understand, dear humans, if you pay attention properly, you will find the answers on how to do it. But because you don't like to pay attention on how to build faith, because it's more important to you to pay attention in your workplace because it puts money in your bank, you rather do that. But what you don't know, the thing that keeps you earning money is faith, your vibration. When you have faith, you vibrate here in the fourth and fifth dimension. When you have faith, when you are beyond faith and you that which you know, you are here. And when you're beyond that, when you have no mind, you are here. It starts off here. You can't just run and go there. How can you run a 100-kilometer marathon if you never run in the treadmill first? Your lung might pop out of your body. Anyways, that's a life part number 7 for you. Let's go on to my favorite life part number 8. Oh, the Scorpio Sagittarians life part number 8. Classic. Who's the life part number 8 here? Who's the life part number 8 here? Scorpios? Oh, Seshni, you're a life path number 8 and a Scorpio. Oh, I love to do this one, yeah. Let's go for it. Life path number 8. Oh, Maggie, you're a life path number 8. I didn't know that. What's a life path number 8? Who's Scorpio, yeah? I know my father is a first decan Scorpio. What a combination. Life path number 8 Scorpio. Let me describe this one here. Let's see what comes in my head first. Okay. Oh, these people symbolize success, money, power. These people love the muscles. They love the success. They love the glory. They love the to be the most intelligent, highest in academics. Oh, these people, when you meet them, they'll ask you what you studied. Oh, I studied this. Oh, they are the bougie of the bougies. These people, yeah, they love authority. They are attracted to powerful people. They are attracted to people who got lot qualifications. They are attracted to people that have a lot of money also. These people are the typical materialistics out of all of them. But these people don't know how to save money. You know what? The contrary to this is these people love it so much, but it's very difficult for them to save that money because they spend it on buying everything. But they need to understand that money is good and attachment to it is a problem. Many of life path number 8s will be materially secure and money will come to them at any time or great need. These people, money comes to them very quickly because their head is always in it. On the other hand, these people here, their whole life, they focus on acquiring material gain. These people make directors, bosses. These people around the world, you'll find them. They are public figures. These are the bosses of the world. These people here, they don't like injustice. Their sense of justice is very strong. The life path number 8, these people, when they cheat in life, they always will get caught. Unlike other life path numbers, these people, when they go down the wrong road, they always get caught. On the dark side, these people can be merciless. Um, they they don't. On the dark side, they can become very revengeful people. Uh, they can become very bitter people. They can become very confused people, but they will never own up to their difficulties. They will never own up to well, where they went wrong. 8 is all about the ego. So these people here on the dark side, they rather hold on to the ego than anything else. These people can tell you sorry like this. Oh, I'm sorry. No, they won't say I'm sorry. They'll just say, you're not sorry you got hurt. Sorry you got hurt about what I said to you. That's how they'll apologize. And you'll tell him, but that's how you say sorry. They'll say, but I told you sorry. What more you want from me? You want me to wash your feet? That's the toxicity of them. They can end up like this. They'll tell you like this here. Wait, let's just they shout. They tell you something, and you tell them, "Hey, how you can speak like that? I don't like it." They'll say you're not okay. Okay, sorry, you felt like that. Then you'll tell them, "Hey, wait a minute. I never feel like that. How you spoke was genuinely not right. Hey, but I told you sorry. What more you want I must do? You want I must go and wash your feet." So this is not a very good way of being. It can lead them down a very dark road because um, over a long period of time, their vibration starts to drop, and everything that is of high vibration and high frequency will never be able to enter their lives. On the dark side, these people need to surrender the ego. This is the biggest lesson for a life path number 8 in this world. Surrender the ego. These people like to combat. They're very combative people. They like to compare. They like to compete with people. They can become obsessed with competing. They can become obsessed with money. They can become obsessed with everything that has to do with the physical eyes. It's the obsession that can make them go off. Not that those things are bad. No, it's the obsession that can make a person go down the road. And this is where the problem is. These people are not dependent on other people, uh, and they can become very easily drawn to drugs, alcohol. They can be very easily drawn towards any kind of narcotics. If these people don't evolve through their lessons, these people can have a lot of problems with these areas in the body. Anyway, below the pelvic area, above the knee, they'll start to have a lot of problem there. They become, they have problems with their kidneys and definitely their digestive system. Uh, on the dark side, if they don't learn through their lessons, these people here like to control other people's lives because they find it very difficult to control their own life. So they feel a sense of peace when they have it's the ego. No, they must follow me. Um, they must listen to me. It's because they've never shown in their own life that they could lead a successful life. So on the dark side, such a person, when they have kids, these people hold on to the kids like no man's business. You will see these people here, their kids will have to listen to them. If the kids don't listen to them, oh, it's a big problem. It's the end of the world. Why? Because they like control like that. They like to enforce control because you'll find a lot of times when they are this way, they've made a ridiculous meaning of what they call of their own life. They never achieved much in their own life, and it's only through comfort of their kids that they feel peace. They can't feel alone. These people hate being alone anyways. They become very scared, but externally they may show they're never scared, but inside they may fold like foil just without the noise of what a foil makes. Anyways, let's move on to the life path number 9. Life path number 9, as above, so below. The best way to describe a life path number 9, number 9 is all about forgiveness. Number 9 is all about beauty, service, letting go, transformation. Number 9 is the last of the cycle. So these people here have a lot of experience. These people have lived the other vibrations. These people here will always feel everything is deja vu. If you come across a life path number 9, while you're talking to them, they'll tell you that, hey, I've lived this thing here. Life path 8, I've been in, but life path number 8 is not my favorite. These are the ones that give me the hardest time in my readings. I just know what they're gonna ask about. Anyways, I'm joking, Seshni. Anyways, life path number 9s, these people here, these people feel like, they feel like they're very old in this world. You'll find that a 20-year-old life path number 9 will fold his or her legs and say, in this world, I've come here so many times, I feel so old. What more is there to live in this world? I think I need to go elsewhere. I don't know where, but there you'll find that. Life path number 9 will talk like this. So, such a person can take all of their money and open up an NPO, an SPCA, for example, and start taking care of all the dogs. They'll tell you, I'm sick and tired of human beings. A life path number 9 can tell you this. I just want to look after animals. A lot of life path number 9s are attached to animals. These people here can talk about anything. They have the knowledge about pretty much anything. These people here, they need somebody who can understand them. You see, a lot of people will misunderstand a life path number 9 and find them very, very negative. It's not that they're negative, it's just that they don't know how to explain something in the right way. Number 9 is very incisive and they know what's best for everybody. You'll find a life path number 9 giving advice to everybody. These people here, and the thing is, my firm belief is, you cannot give Ferrari advice to, you cannot take advice from a Ferrari advice from a Datsun owner. Now, my thing is, this is what a life path number 9 do not understand. They can give you advice for something that they've never lived. On the dark side, if you have to tell a life path number 9 this, it hurts the ego a lot. And their ideas are sometimes very unrealistic and very difficult to implement. These people here, they can irritate many people with their attitudes, and they can defend it very, very fiercely. And these people here, they're like the know-it-alls out of everybody. They can comment on anything and anybody, even unnecessarily. They can be very temperamental and very explosive. They don't allow affection or beating around the bush. They number nines, they like to state openly what they feel, but they don't like anybody to tell them what they feel. They don't like to hear anything that's not good about themselves. These people here are the egomaniacs out of control. These people here, they become very negative people because towards later on in their life, once they hit their second Saturn return around 59, 60 years of age, when life starts to take them to the hospital and life starts to slow them down, when they realize that their mouth has to slow down, otherwise somebody can beat them up to a pulp if they keep running it, that's when they will realize, you know what, maybe I should keep quiet. And such people here, they start taking out their frustrations in the house, or because they're smart, they will start to go out of the home to find a way to dissolve the energy because they're not used to this. These people are like that on the dark side. If they haven't handled themselves properly, these people can give anybody advice and they can talk it in the most disruptive way ever, and you can never give them advice. That's who they are. But on the good side, if they're well balanced, these people here can be very charismatic, they can be very charming, but they can be very inconspicuous, scipious, they can be very misleading. They love the center of attention. Either way, it's difficult for them to recognize their own uniqueness. They can be very communicative, very sociable people, but on the dark side, they become sociable people for material gain. In fact, these people here, they also, like the threes, the nines and the threes, these people here are, they can be very superficial. They like to play around a lot. They like to laugh and joke, whatever. But if you laugh at them, these people here they don't like it. So these people find humor at the expense of other people. The threes and nines are like that. They can find humor at the expense of somebody else and classify it as joking. But definitely, this is not a joke. A joke is never at the expense of anybody, but an insult. And these people will never understand it. A life path number nine a life path number 9 only understands their true nature when they start to go through things, and they start to go through it once they turn 61 to 62 years of age, right up until 68, 69. These people start to go through a very, very difficult phase in their life. And this is when all their thoughts, words, and actions start to relive it. And this is ultimately the second time of karma. They go to the first time around 29 to 36 years of age. Most of them do not learn from it anyways, and they go through life the second time, second Saturn return, and life hits them very, very hard with their health. And unfortunately, you can never tell this to a life path number 9 because their egos are bigger than their logic. Their egos are bigger than their body, so you rather keep quiet. Now, there are many master numbers. There's master number 11, master number 22, master number 33. Am I going to talk about master numbers today? No. I'm going to leave the master numbers for another session. Reason being because 1 to 9 is the main numbers, or they are the main numbers. The master numbers are generally, these are the ones that I'd like to move away from the pros and cons, because master numbers are generally, the reports are very different, and I'd like to create separate podcast for each one. Now, dear listeners, I've covered all life path numbers from 1 to 9. Now, if you look closely, these can be directly interchangeable with the sun signs from the zodiacs. They also, if you look at the life path number 1, fight or flight mode, these people are vibrating here, fight or flight mode. They always want to drive in their life. They always want to fight. They're very courageous. Second house, always a need for freedom, need for love. They always want affection. Third house, very communicative. They love travel. They love expressing that. They're like childlike nature. Fourth house, life path number four. These people here are very soft, very duty driven. I like to describe the life path number four as the dharma beings. These people, they can follow on the dharma like no man's business. Nothing can ever move them out of the dharma on their duties. It's very difficult. Like that, you can find that in the chakra system, and you can find that in the days of the week. If you look at a Sunday, this is a life path number one's number. On a Tuesday, life path number two. You'll find Mondays. Oh, life path number twos. They are very emotional beings. Life path number three is Tuesday. Life path number four, and so forward. And you can see which planet governs those days, and you can see which color resonate with them. So if you look at a life path number one, red. These people love red. They love red like no man's business. They see red. Life path number two, these are generally the Taurines. They love blue, blue and green. They love blue. Jupiter governs Jupiter, blue. You can see it in the days of the week as well. And you can see it in the sounds that the planets make. These are the sounds that they like to hear with their ears. You say things that have those vowels in it or those words, those letters in it, they get attached to it. Now, this is how you can manipulate somebody knowing. Uh, Maybe I should not be saying this, but anyway, you can actually use this here to, uh, well, Fashizi Manizi, you know what I'm saying. Namaste, Ryan, on my YouTube channel. Yeah, so colors, days of the week, sounds, chakras, numbers, frequency, all goes back to astrology, which is the same thing as the chakra system. This thing here, this is the Jacob's ladder. This is the stairway to heaven. This is the Kundalini awakening, the rising of the energy. Most Christian people are um, focused on Good Friday and Easter. This is the rising right here. It's not something that you rise physically. Here's the rising right up here. You must rise every day, not once a year. Everything must be taken metaphorically. Anyways, thank you very, very much, Nirmalan, for patiently managing my channel. For those of you who have gifted me, thank you very, very much for your generosity. May your pockets overflow. This is a recording that will be uploaded on my YouTube channel. If you haven't as yet, please subscribe to Astro In with Abhi on my YouTube channel. You'll find this podcast there. You can always cross reference and go back to it when you need to. For those of you that want a report on yourself or anybody, choose option number one from a PDF 07633101118. Here's a number right here. You can send me a WhatsApp message. There's different options on my PDF. If you haven't as yet, please follow me on TikTok, subscribe to my channel on YouTube. All my content is there. Iowa, Awareness Babi, Astro Inudabi. You'll find all contents there. That's actually free. In fact, that's what you should have because that's where I do all my literature that I do on Facebook, all my write-ups. I talk it nicely on YouTube on my podcast for you to absorb and apply. Once again, thank you very, very much. May everybody be safe. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ram. Am Namah Shivaya. Haribol. Goodbye.